Thank you, Ferdy. Coming up next, the IBF Featherweight Championship as we take you backstage into the dressing room of the champion, Tom Boom Boom Johnson, making final preparations for his 11th title defense as he goes against Venezuelan Ramon Guzman. Johnson has held the title for over 3 years, and although highly regarded in the boxing community, his accomplishments have gone virtually unnoticed by the general public. Despite this, Johnson remains upbeat and optimistic, feeling that the recognition is just a matter of time.
I feel boxing is yet to see the best of Boom Boom Johnson. I've had different guys come out and bring out the better half, but I just feel that there's still a little bit more left in me to do a lot of things, and it's just a matter of the guys that I face and the yearn for the sport. I'm still hungry, I'm still learning, and I'm still working hard to achieve my goals, which is to be the best that I can be, not in the ring, but in life as a whole.
Well, despite 17 consecutive wins, including 10 title defenses, Tom Boom Boom Johnson still seeks publicity. That could come soon with a possible signature or defining fight against the likes of Prince Nassim Hamed, or perhaps if he moves up in weight to battle Azuma Nelson. Tonight here in Dublin, he faces Ramon Guzman in defense of his longtime IBF Featherweight Championship. Well, is Tom Johnson's career at his peak, or is it on the decline after years of hard-fought battles? Bobby, what's your assessment?
Well, you know, Steve, he's had so many wars. He's had the championship now for over 3 years, 10 defenses. He's fought all the best there is in the division. So some might think because he's had so many wars, and sometimes the smaller weights, the bodies give out earlier in years than the big weights, they might think he's past his prime. My perception is no. He can give the best of the best all the war they want for as long as they want it, Steve.
Well, as you know, we last saw Boom Boom in March against the then #1 contender, Ever Bolaño, a tough Colombian southpaw. After only his second Korean knockdown in the first round, Johnson got off the canvas to score an inspiring 12th round TKO. Bobby, an example of just how determined Johnson is to keep his title.
Well, Johnson's not a champion just in skills, but here you see him in the 12th round of the fight. He knows he's ahead, or he believes he's ahead. He goes for the knockout anyway. That's the championship heart that has to go with it, and championship pride. You put the championship pride and heart together with championship skill, it's a great combination and an awfully difficult one to beat.
Well, Ramon Guzman's lack of championship experience plus his recent move up to featherweight have to be big factors. And on top of that, Ferdy, he's lost his last 2 fights.
It's even bigger than that. He lost the last 2 fights by knockout. Will you please explain to me how this guy gets a title shot? I'd like somebody to explain it to me. All this guy faces today is Boom Boom at his best. Boom Boom wants to look good, and he's got this abysmal record of being knocked out twice. It should be a short night.
And a look at the challenger, Ramon Guzman, out of La Guaira, Venezuela, a former Venezuelan national champ. Guzman looking to turn a pro career around. That is on the brink of disaster. He's coming off 2 straight knockout defeats, as Ferdy mentioned. He's just 5-4 his last 9 fights, yet he's rated number 12 by the IBF. To make the odds even tougher, his first world title shot here against one of the most gutsy champions in the game today, Ramon Guzman, who told us yesterday that he has watched no tapes of Boom Boom Johnson, which to me is quite astonishing. I would think that you'd want to pick up, you know, as much information about your opponent as possible in preparation for a fight, especially if it's a title fight.
Yeah, it's almost ununderstandable, except he's resigned to losing. That's about it.
Well, we're just about set to see the champion. The man, Ramon Guzman, will have to fight tonight. Tom Boom Boom Johnson. And here comes the champion. Boom Boom, born in Evansville, Indiana, now lives in Detroit, Michigan. His 11th defense of the IBF featherweight title. That's impressive, but he still has a ways to go for most consecutive successful defenses of the featherweight title. That distinction belongs to a man named Abe Attell out of San Francisco, who, according to Ring Magazine, made 20 successful defenses of the featherweight crown before losing it in 1912, although other sources have it listed at 13. Being led in by the championship belt, Boom Boom Johnson. When you talk about superb featherweight champs over the years, names like Willie Pep, one of the greatest boxers of all time, Sandy Sadler come to mind, along with Alexis Arguello, Eusebio Pedroza, Salvador Sanchez, and of course, Azuma Nelson. Johnson has held the title since February of '93, when he outpointed Manuel Medina in the second of their 3 fights to avenge an earlier defeat. Let's check the numbers as we take a look at the tail of the tape. At 32, Johnson a year older than Guzman. The height nearly even. Johnson on the money at 126. Slight reach advantage for Johnson. And the IBF rules for this title fight. Scoring under the 10-point must system. 3 scoring judges. There is no standing 8 count. No 3 knockdown rule. Only the referee can stop the fight. The bell cannot save a fighter in any round. If an accidental foul occurs before the end of the 6th round, the fight is ruled a technical draw. If it happens after the completion of the 6th round, they go to the scorecard. So we're here at the Point Theatre in Dublin, Ireland, where we are set for our co-feature, the IBF Featherweight Championship between Tom Boom Boom Johnson and Ramon Guzman. We asked Johnson what he knows about Guzman. He said, well, I know one thing. He's never fought on this level before. Boom Boom is right about that. Guzman rated number 9 by the IBF as a junior featherweight, as mentioned, number 12 as a featherweight. Here he is fighting for a world championship. Let's get the formal introductions right now here in Dublin from our ring announcer, Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Well, fans, at this time, we present a World Championship featured attraction here at the Point in Dublin. And once again, it is all brought to you by Frank Warren's Sports Network and Don King Productions, as sponsored by Adidas and MBC. This world title bout is sanctioned by the International Boxing Federation, the President Robert Lee Sr., supervisor at ringside Daryl Peoples, along with the Boxing Union of Ireland. Chairman is Nick Moore, President Mel Crystal. Introducing to you our judges scoring this bout from ringside, Dr. Ruben Garcia, Dave Parris, and Lawrence Wallace. Introducing to you our referee in charge of this bout. He'll be giving instructions after the introductions, Sam Williams. All right, fans, here we go with the IBF Featherweight Championship of the World, scheduled for 12 rounds of boxing. Presenting first the challenger on my left, fighting out of the red corner, wearing blue trunks with red and yellow trim. He joins us all the way from La Guaira, Venezuela. He weighed in at 8 stone, 13 1/4 pounds, or 125 1/4 U.S. pounds. His record stands at 21 victories, 5 defeats, with 20 wins coming by way of knockout. Please welcome the hard-hitting challenger, ranked the IBF number 12 featherweight contender in the world, introducing Ramon Guzman. And presenting his opponent across the ring on my right, fighting out of the blue corner, the defending world champion, wearing black trunks with white and red trim, fighting out of Detroit, Michigan, by way of Evansville, Indiana, in the United States. He weighed in at the featherweight limit of 9 stone even, or 126 U.S. pounds. His record includes 43 wins, 2 losses, 1 draw, with 26 wins coming by way of knockout. Tonight he is making the 11th defense of his title. Please welcome the IBF Featherweight Champion of the World, Tom Boom Boom Johnson. And once again, it's Sam Williams, our referee in charge, now to give instructions.
I talked to you in the dressing room. I'm going to remind you. I want you to keep watch your headbutts, your low blows, your kidney punches. On my command to break, take a full step back to protect yourself at all times. In case of a knockdown, I'll send you to the furthest neutral corner. Remain until I send for you. Good luck, man.
Johnson viewing this fight as a possible stepping stone to a lucrative showdown with WBO featherweight champ Prince Nassim Hamed to unify the titles. Meanwhile, Ramon Guzman hoping to be the spoiler, but realistically a long shot nonetheless. And here we go, round 1 scheduled for 12 for the IBF featherweight championship. Tom Boom Boom Johnson in the black with the red and white trim, and Ramon Guzman wearing the multicolored trunks from Venezuela. And right off the bat, I've got to say the referee, Sam Williams from Detroit, Michigan, it's the same residence as Tom Boom Boom Johnson, which to me is just inviting trouble. Why don't they just have a referee from somewhere else to avoid things?
At least it gives the appearance of impropriety, or as Don King used to say, the appearance of trickeration. It looks like it, but it isn't, but it looks like it. So why do that? I agree with you.
Well, if all things go the way we think they may, Tom Boom Boom Johnson will take care of it, so the decision is not necessary.
It may be all academic. You are correct, sir. Although a notoriously slow starter, Johnson says he really looks to win the first round. Of course, he doesn't like to give away any round. Every round to him is a war, but the first round is extremely significant to him. Maybe hurt his man early or put a little caution in him.
Well, Guzman said he was going to wait the first round, which is what he's doing. Waiting, he's watching. He said he's going to look to see, but he's never seen Johnson, which I find to be preposterous to me, but hey, not me in there.
He's finding out what a left hook feels like by a champion, because he's get him good solid hook as Boom Boom.
Guzman has lost his last 2 by KO, 5 of his last 9, yet here he is fighting for the title. He could be receiving some, well, false hope early, since Johnson, as we said, a slow starter.
Well, according to his record, which is certainly hard to believe, I mean, he is a knockout artist. I mean, he certainly gets knocked out, but I mean, he's a knockout artist by punch. I mean, he's got 20 knockouts. I mean, I don't know, is that right?
He describes himself as a puncher. Yes, 20 of his 21 wins are by knockout. He said he prefers, though, to fight from the distance, but looks to cut the distance and bang hard inside. His KO punch is the left hook.
Yeah, no, I saw some evidence of that left hook down below, and when he did an under and over, he seems to have a decent left hook. And I noticed he came out here very excited, very emotional for a challenge that's very good.
And Bobby, I mean, you know, when you know you're better, but still the guy bangs, don't you have to give him a little bit of respect when you start out like this?
You know, I try and give everybody respect. And there you saw a nice right hand. Boom Boom Johnson rocked down a jab and countered beautifully to no avail. I saw no results on Guzman's face.
No, Guzman looks determined right now. I'll have to say that for him. He's come out here to fight.
Johnson, not a knockout artist. He does not like to engage in brawls. He has 25 knockouts in his 43 wins. Although, as we've seen, he can handle himself in a street fight, but it's just not in his game plan, in his fight plan. He is tough, determined, has a champion's heart, but doesn't look to stand in and slug. He likes to work off the jab with his objective to hit and not be hit.
And maybe that's why he's lasted this long. He is a good defensive fighter, and he keeps the fighter right in front of him, and he's doing the leading. No problem, first round.
The end of round 1 here at the Point Theatre in Dublin, Ireland. Well, we come to you tonight from the crown jewel of the Emerald Isle in Dublin. In the last year, the well-traveled Showtime Championship boxing crew has frequently been across the Atlantic to bring you some of the best boxing in the world. Besides Dublin, we've visited merry old England's London and Newcastle, as well as the car-making capital of Germany, Stuttgart. 2 of our trips featured World Heavyweight Championships, McCall versus Bruno at London's Wembley Stadium for the WBC title, and Botha versus Schulz in Deutschland for the IBF crown. Next week, we're off again to the magical city of Las Vegas for Selden versus Tyson, our 4th heavyweight championship in 12 months. Yes, Showtime on the road again.
Good work. You're working good. Working beautiful. Working beautiful. Fight him with the jab. After you start fighting with the jab, you touch him with the jab, then everything has to go behind that. And then you break something off on him, okay?
Round 2. Now, these fellas weigh about half as much as the cruiserweights we just saw. Expect at least twice as much action. We certainly hope so.
Well, if you like to see good boxing, just keep your eyes on Boom Boom. He does box very well, very beautifully, sets things up, classical boxer, believes in the jab, let things come off the jab, and cautious. He has a great defense. He's going to go when he wants to go.
He's smart. He likes to make his opponents pay when they miss, pay when they make mistakes, but he doesn't want to have to do that at the risk of getting himself in harm's way.
He likes to get into a rhythm, step in and get out, wear his opponent down with an cumulative attack, digging body shots that can weaken his opponents and really take the pop out of their punches. And when he's on, he executes faster than his opponents, beats him to the punch, and often gets stronger as the fight wears on. But it usually takes a couple of rounds before he really gets down to business. Use each fight as a marathon, not a sprint, but each round viewed as a war.
You know, Bobby, Guzman has landed a straight right hand 2 or 3 times. He didn't put all the power behind it that he could have. I'm wondering what's going to happen if that right hand lands and with the blasting power this guy's supposed to have.
Well, I'll tell you, it depends on what that power is and who it was against. Tom Johnson will probably fire right back, and we'll make a little bit of a war out of it.
This Guzman's first world title shot, 8-year career. He turned pro in '87, won his first 10 fights before suffering his first defeat. Bounced back with 6 straight KOs over the next 2 years, but since those 6 straight KO wins, 5-4, with his last 2 fights knockout defeats. Comes off a 10th round TKO loss, and prior to that, a 2nd round KO loss.
See the right hand battle?
Yeah, I see him rocking on the right hand. He's doing it very well, too. He's trying to set Boom Boom up as Boom Boom's coming to him, working off a counter on the jab. And I'll tell you, if he lands a clean one, anything's possible. But I think Boom Boom right now kind of got him zeroed in, working his body a little bit. Guzman's just not active enough.
Yeah, I don't see this a complete one-way fight here. I mean, this guy has got potential. I mean, he shouldn't beat a Boom Boom Dutch, but he's got that right hand. He's saving it and landing it when it counts.
Hit him up, hit him up.
Johnson certainly has the lasting power. He's been the only IBF featherweight champ for the last 3+ years, while there have been 7 WBC featherweight champs, 4 WBA, and 4 WBO champions. Under 20 seconds, round 2. Only 2 losses in 46 fights to Harold Warren and Manuel Medina, who fights later against the Prince, Nassim Hamed.
Starting to hear some boos from the crowd. That should get Boom Boom started. He doesn't like to hear boos. Another one in the bit for Johnson.
And the Bluebirds do come out.
¿Cómo te sientes? ¿Te sientes? Bien. Mira, Ramón, está muy bien, ok, está bien. Tienes que estar pendiente de tu seguridad y tu mano arriba, ¿oíste? Ten cuidado con el gancho.
They're satisfied with what he's doing, but he's got to keep his hands high and throw the right.
Suelta la mano cuando él venga, pero sin bajarla, sin desarmar.
Put your right hand in when he comes in. When he comes in, throw.
Sí, bien. Sí, no, sí. Pero sin desarmar.
Well, here you see Boom Boom coming in, and Guzman's trying to work that. He's trying to work the jab, but he gets hooked with left hook. Again, a left hook. His left hand drops a little bit, but he's just jabbing right now. He's not doing anything except once in a while trying to counter the right hand. Not active enough.
Well, I think Boom Boom has been sent out to increase the action a little bit now. Intensify the action. It's time to start taking command. I mean, he's won both rounds, but hasn't been anything big and decisive here.
Jovito Diaz, the chief second in the corner of Guzman. Well, here we are, round 3. Not too much solid action thus far. We would expect Johnson to pick it up and get into his rhythm soon. A jab by Guzman, sort of a probing jab. Guzman, who likes to fight from a distance. Body shots by Boom Boom Johnson, missing wildly with the left.
Boom Boom came out zeroing in with that right hand in the body. Yep. First punch he threw, second, fourth came down the road.
Guzman 21-5 with 20 knockouts. Johnson 43-2-1 with 26 KOs. His 11th title defense, and good setup for the right with the right fist by Tom Johnson. Johnson very patient, looking to set up the right hand or a combination with the left jab. And there it is.
He's still keeping too much distance between them. He still hasn't committed to coming in and doing the fighting. He's standing out there where he can move when things don't happen for him, but he's still not committed completely.
There you go. Johnson beginning to land with more regularity now. The overhand right now. Is that a slip or did he go down?
He went down from a punch in the temple, but it was a little bit of a bad balance kind of fall. I think a part of that punch was slip as it was power, but I'll tell you what, he's starting to zero in with it.
It's the kind of slip you do on a slippery surface. You know, I mean, he fell with too much force for it to be just a blow. Yeah, it was a blow, but there was a slip with it.
And now Johnson again picking up the pace, pouring in, going to the ribs, to the body. Tom Johnson,
marking a true and efficient champion too. He hurts the man to the head and he goes to the body. He doesn't forget the body.
Oh, a right hand by Johnson and Guzman down. The second knockdown this round.
Stevie stayed in deep, digging to the body, turned back and rocked upstairs with the right hand. Beautiful punch. Terrific combination.
A barrage by the champion, Tom Boom Boom Johnson. 35 seconds to go in round 3. He's been down twice. There's no 3 knockdown rule here.
Awful long time when you're getting this kind of punishment.
Right back comes Johnson, looking to end it here in round number 3.
Big low blow. Could have stopped it for a moment right there.
Keep him up, keep him up.
You know, to his credit, when Guzman got up, he was mad at himself, which meant that he still had a pretty clear head.
Another onslaught here by Tom Boom Boom Johnson. Guzman looking to hang in. Again, no 3 knockdown rule, according to the International Boxing Federation. Guzman has been down twice here in the 3rd.
Coño, Ramón, no jodas, anda al banco, ahí te lo empuja. Coño, está bien, pero ¿por qué te cae, vale? Coño, ¿qué es lo que pasa? Oh, la madre, no. Ya, por favor, te un poquito de agua en la cara, por favor, para que saque el golpe. Espérate, vete a sacarle el golpe,
Not much advice from anybody. They're just saying keep your hands up and stop fighting with them. Let's take a look at the first knockdown, then Bobby will take a look at the second. Let's look at this. Watch the action to the body. Keep your eyes on Boom Boom's gloves when he comes working to the body. See, he has in his mind that he's going to drop those hands by working. Oh, that was the slip one. You've got the one. You've got the one with the body. Check.
Watch the second knockdown. Boom Boom was digging up underneath, carrying left hooks and right uppercuts, and he comes and he leaps back, and he leaps in with a right hand. You'll see him coil here, and he hits right up top. It's coming soon. Stay in the body. There's the right hand. He coils and he leaps right up with it, right on the button. Beautiful punch, beautiful knockdown.
A wicked straight right hand that levels Ramon Guzman. The second knockdown in round number 3. Round 4. It is scheduled for 12 for the IBF Featherweight Championship. Tom Johnson having his way with the challenger Ramon Guzman. Beautiful combination, but it raised with the right. He didn't have full contact.
Guzman, you got to give him credit for guts. He came back, he said, yeah, he knocked me down, but I feel all right. I feel good. I mean, he's not whimpering. He's ready to go fight some more. Got to give him credit for guts.
Guzman, an unknown quantity. His first world title shot after losing 2 in a row by knockout. 5-4 over his last 9 fights. We're looking to hang tough here against the classy champion, Tom Johnson.
Guzman's not landing any clean, hard punches that's going to keep Johnson at bay, keep him back, and let Johnson show him any respect. So here comes Johnson, loading again.
Going to the body is Tom Johnson, pulling away, just up above us. Oh, what a digging left hook. Now a right by Johnson. These are ferocious strikes to the body, to the head, with the right doubling up. All over Guzman. The referee, Sam Williams, looking on very closely. Another right hook to the head by Johnson.
The punches are too hard, too many, too accurate. Guzman is not going to be able to stay in that posture.
Well, he's still fighting, though. You can't stop this. He's still fighting. He's got his feet under him. He's still fighting. He never looked rocky in that. He took his shellacking, but he's still ticking.
A good decision by Sam Williams, a referee from Detroit.
There's a lot of body punishment, but very little head punishment.
Taking a lot of the starch out of Guzman, too. Those body shots.
That is the history of Tom Boom Boom Johnson. The accumulative effect usually wears down his opponent, and then he goes in for the finish.
It looks like he's loading up his right hand, Bobby. Looks like he just wants to land that as soon as he turns him around enough. There he goes. There he goes. He was just turning him around so that right hand would land, and it did.
Boom Boom Johnson. Classic style, lots of blows to the body. Then he goes upstairs. And he buckles Guzman's knees just moments ago. 30 seconds and counting in round 4. Another big round for the champion, Johnson.
You see, he's swinging from too far out, is Guzman. He's swinging wide, and Johnson's coming in tight inside those swinging circles.
Bertie is just telegraphing those punches, allowing Johnson to get out of the way.
That's the same thing that Ali did to Foreman in the jungle. Wide punches, and Ali stepped inside and demolished him. That's what this is turning out to be.
Johnson again setting up the right with the left hand as the bell sounds.
Working good. Working good, baby. Working good. Working good. Okay. Don't get excited, okay? Don't get excited. Don't get into a position. You're working good. You're working good. Don't get into a position when you find yourself with your hand down, your chin up. Okay, stay into your little groove. Right. Okay. Right. Don't get in a hurry. Okay, Mom. It'll come. Right. Okay. Don't get in a hurry. It'll come. Keep touching it with the jab. Right. And working from there. Okay. Keep touching with the jab.
All right. Let's take a look at what's happening here, because the way that now here's that sequence of body chopping attacks. Boy, this is the way to do it. But watch how he watches his defense. See, boom, boom, punches. But he's looking for that other guy's gloves. He's going under it and still punching with impunity. Boy, that's beautiful boxing. Beautiful boxing. Good stuff from Boom Boom Johnson.
Bonzel Johnson, his trainer, exhorting his man to show patience. It'll come. We'll see if it does. It's round number 5, scheduled for 12, the IBF Featherweight Championship.
Well, when he's in such command, Steve, you don't want him to go out there and make a silly mistake. He's winning the rounds. He's getting the job done. He's had his man hurt on the floor. You don't need to hurry and make a mistake.
Well, he's had him down a lot, twice to be exact, and in round 3, and it was he's ahead, 40-35. How can he be not? Won every round. As the champion, Boom Boom Johnson.
Although no date has been said, it's felt that a Johnson-Prince Naseem Hamed showdown is inevitable. They're talking about the possibility of December.
I tell you, they better not talk about anything until this night's over.
That's true. You never know, as Hamed later is going up against a former 2-time world champion and experienced seasoned fighter in Manuel Medina.
As Runnington found out when he stepped in for an easy fight and had a tough night in the garden.
You know, it's funny, too. Tom Johnson said that if the same Medina shows up to fight Naseem that fought him, he predicts a 90+% chance of upset.
He feels Hamed isn't taking Medina seriously when he predicts a second-round knockout, and even Johnson said to us he wouldn't want to fight Medina again. He fought him 3 times, winning 2 out of 3, losing the first, and then winning the next 2.
Well, he's stepping up here. He's stepping up the quantity and quality of his punches.
Minute 20 remaining in round number 5. It has been all Tom Boom Boom Johnson.
Nice leg work from Tom Boom Boom Johnson, moving around. Beautiful, beautiful leg work. Look at him, light as a feather.
126 even.
He almost unleashed that right.
You know, Tom was so much more effective in the earlier rounds while he was coming forward. I'm wondering why he's relaxing and staying on the outside.
Maybe he's resting, Bobby. Or maybe he's just showing the crowd it's another ear to him. That's reverse.
Perhaps Johnson just pacing himself. After all, he is 32 years of age. He feels that he will not be fighting much longer at 126. He wants to move up to 130.
Steve, are you saying us old men can't fight past 5 or 6 rounds?
I heard that look you were giving me. I was in trouble. You're young for an announcer. Final seconds, round 5. Well, Showtime Event Television and King Vision present the WBA Heavyweight Championship with WBA title holder Bruce Seldon facing WBC champion Mike Tyson live on pay-per-view next Saturday, September 7th at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. The Tyson-Seldon undercard features 3 other boxing attractions. Women's boxing sensation Christy Martin meets Belinda Robinson. Undefeated IBF welterweight champion Felix Tito Trinidad defends his title against Ray Lovato, and Terry Norris puts both his IBF and WBC 154-pound titles on the line versus Alex Rios. That's next Saturday, live on pay-per-view. And later on in this broadcast, we'll be hearing from Seldon and Tyson in interviews we recently conducted from their training camps.
Move it, walking him down, walk him down, let the hands go. When you get him against the rope, let's go to work on this guy again, okay? You ready to go.
Take him.
All right?
Come on, champ.
Don't get careless, keep his head down.
Line 7.
Chin stays down, go to work, baby.
Let's go.
The words of Bonzel Johnson to the corner of Boom Boom Johnson as we enter into round number 6. As confident as Prince Naseem Hamed is, you wonder if he's in his dressing room watching Boom Boom Johnson's total domination of Ramon Guzman.
Guzman just doesn't throw enough punches. He doesn't throw them hard enough to make a difference, to make some damage to be done to Johnson. Johnson can do what he wants, wrestle when he wants, fight when he wants. It's far too easy for him.
Our telecast here on Showtime in conjunction with B-Sky BTV. They've been very helpful to us. We appreciate their efforts. Guzman going a little bit south of the border there, but getting away with it.
Well, his corner sent him out to do what he has to do. Boom, boom. Corner said, okay, that was an easy round. Now let's go out and finish it. Let's go home. Come on. So they're instructing him to let's get this thing over. Got hit low. Did boom, boom, 2. Low blow.
Johnson showing his quickness defensively, able to bob and weave out of the way of those punches by Guzman.
You watch back to his offense. You watch when he comes out of that coil, he unloads that right hand.
Yes. Look at him out of the crouch. Tom Johnson toying with the left to set up the right or a combination. Johnson again looks to be in exquisite condition, dancing around here in round 6. It doesn't even look as if he's broken a sweat.
Guzman seems to be getting a little more brave, going forward a little more, maybe building a little confidence. And maybe Tom Johnson's a little tired, but I don't think so.
I don't know what he could be building confidence in, except that he's still standing straight up because he hadn't done it. He's thrown a lot of punches in the air.
Combination just missed with the right, did Johnson. Guzman is game, but he's just not in the same league as Tom Boom Boom Johnson. Under 30 seconds, round 6.
Even the fans feel impatient because they feel like we do. This thing should be over. Come on, take it over. Let's finish. And he's not. They're starting to boo a little bit. And they want, you know, here they're waiting for Prince to put on a show. And we've got a waltz going here. Come on.
Well, it started out in a kind of sensational fashion. First 2 or 3 rounds. Good punches, good combinations, a couple of knockdowns. And now it's kind of settled into a nice waltz.
And the rhythmic applause takes us to the bell. And now the booing.
All right, baby.
It's a knockout coming, come.
Huh?
It's a knockout coming, come.
That's right.
Yeah, you're right.
That's right.
Just win the fight.
You're boxing intelligently. You're boxing good. You're boxing good, okay?
Yeah.
But look, don't let this guy get brave on us now, you know?
Right.
Don't let him start getting brave on us. You keep the tempo, you keep the thing.
Hay que ganar. Óyeme bien, si el hombre te corre por la orilla de la cuerda, no lo cargue. Espera llegar a un rincón y ahí lo finteas con la cintura y los rincones y te juega la vida.
Let him dance around, but when he gets to the corner, cut him off and let him have it. And of course, that's easier said than done. You can't corner a guy like Boom Boom.
Y el hombre está cogiendo los ya seguiditos que tú le tiras porque está esperando que tú bajes la mano para pegarte a la derecha. ¿Entiendes? Ya ve a los 3, 4 veces. Y cuando llegue a la zona, tira puño.
He's telling him to jab 3 and 4 times, not just once. The guy's waiting to hit you with the right hand. Keep throwing the jab 2, 3 times. And he told him to cut him off when he starts dancing around. Don't let him dance so much.
Round 7, Guzman was down twice in the 3rd round. Here we are halfway through the fight. Guzman needs to explode in a big way here if he has any ideas of upsetting Boom Boom Johnson. Boom Boom still in tremendous control of the fight. Of course, his corner saying that he has been boxing well, but they've got to be growing impatient right here.
Well, as in the case with the Nate Miller fight, Boom Boom's had his man on the canvas, 6 rounds in the bank. He's past the point of no return.
There he goes for the 3rd time of the fight. Here early in round 7, Guzman goes down.
And that was a picture-perfect right hand. Guzman is weary, no question about it. And that shot was enough to keep him down. He's got guts, this guy. He's got guts. Give him credit.
And the problem is he's got 2:08 remaining in round 7 after the knockdown.
And Johnson's not in a hurry. He's just relaxing, waiting for another opportunity to open up, and he'll get it done again, I'm sure.
3 knockdowns in the fight for Tom Boom Boom Johnson.
He's sure giving him enough time to clear his head, I'll tell him that. He's giving him a whale of a lot of time to clear his head.
Yeah, letting him off the hook here for the moment. After Guzman was obviously momentarily dazed.
He's got 2 minutes to work on him. I mean, it's just no reason to let him off the hook here.
You know, sometimes a fighter knocks another fighter down. He doesn't sense that it was a clean knockdown or a debilitating one. He'll let it go and just go back to working with what got him there in the first place.
Officially, Guzman down with 2:24 left in round 7. Now 1:10 remaining in the round. Johnson doubling up, tripling up, all left hands now. Let's see if he unleashes the right. Hit him a low blow there by Guzman. There's the right hand by Johnson, but it grazed him.
Johnson's showing great patience. Could possibly be working a little more, but he's showing excellent defense as well. He's making a lot of punches either graze off his shoulders, off his gloves, or miss completely.
Meanwhile, as we have mentioned, a gutty effort by the Venezuelan, Ramon Guzman. Oh, there's a straight right hand by Tom Johnson. Now he digs into the body again. Guzman just tightening up, a right hook to the head.
Here it comes again, you watch it. It's coming again, you see him starting to cock it. He's loading up, turning his body in with it, and he steps back and fires.
It seems inevitable as we approach 10 seconds to go in round 7. Right hands each time, but all after being set up by a barrage of punches.
Well, he survived that. Lord only knows how. And he comes back to the corner. Let's listen to the instructions. Should be a babble of voices.
No, ¿cómo te sientes? Muy bien. No te preocupes, estás haciendo una gran pelea. Viste lo de vengo. Pero tirando los golpes muy suave. Sácale el aire. Tirando los golpes muy suave, Ramón. Recupera un poquito. Óyeme bien. No puedes ponerte a seguir al hombre. Camina para la mano derecha que el tipo se
Well, you can see that he was weary. He shrugged twice. Let's take a look at that resounding KO. Knockdown, excuse me. It always starts with a work to the body. And then the straight right hand. And boy, that was a beautiful crossing right hand. Whack right on the body.
No, you watch it. Tom keeps setting it up, too. He used the left hand and then the right. He's the left hand and then the right. He's been doing it all day. Left hook, straight right down the pipe, and there you see the results.
You know,
all
Bob,
good.
It's amazing he got up. Henry Hill was a good shot.
Por dentro, Ramón, por dentro, anda, para, vamos, por dentro, anda.
Now round number 8 as Guzman receives a final slap on the face to get him out there.
I have hardly ever seen that much of a resignation on a beaten fighter's faces when he shrugged twice like saying, what do you want me to do? I can't do anything with this guy. I mean, they're saying, and he's double jabbing this, and he's going, yeah, right.
And Bertie, I know it's unorthodox, but you can almost argue for round 7 to be scored 10-7 due to Johnson's domination, including the knockdown, the third knockdown of the fight for Boom Boom.
You know, Guzman could be frustrated. Maybe he can't solve Tom. Maybe he can't hit him. Maybe he's just too strong for him. Could be any one of a number of things, but all of those things playing a part in that defeat. He is losing big.
Well, he hasn't won a round, that's for sure, and he's been down to 2 of them, so you can imagine the score is gigantic, 70-63.
The only thing that Guzman has displayed here is heart. But he is certainly not in the class of Tom Johnson.
Bobby, here's a hard question for you, Bobby. Would you consider this a mismatch?
Well, you know, all fighters, champions, and top contenders alike have to every once in a while get easy fights. They force the best opponent in front of them every time out. They shorten their careers and do damage to their bodies. Tom Johnson's paid his dues. He's due a soft fight.
Well, the last time we saw Johnson, he had his hands full against Sefer Valeno, going into the 12th before he finally got the stoppage. It took Nassim Hamed less than 2 rounds to dispatch Daniel Elisea. Tonight, Johnson versus Guzman, a very one-sided affair for the champion, while Hamed could be tested later against Medina. We'll see. Combination to the head by Johnson. All over Guzman.
He's starting to set up that right hand more and more. He's making it work with counters. He's leading with the left, but he is following with big right hands.
Guzman in danger of losing his 3rd consecutive fight by KO.
This one he lost with honor. Tried, we didn't get far enough, and the fight is not over for him. It's not over.
Your hands are free. Let's box out.
Right.
Third man of the ring, Sam Williams.
Johnson always takes his time, steps away from what he's doing, takes a look at it, reassess the situation, go back in, when and where he wants to. That's the style he has.
Well, he is a thinking man's fighter. He takes a cerebral approach to the game. We had a long sit-down conversation with him yesterday in preparation for this fight. And that's the way he is. And that's the way he fights. But a lot of people, after saying that, feel that he should have already taken Guzman out. And the crowd has its own views, as you can hear.
La pelea está bien. ¿Cómo te sientes? Bien. Está bien, saca la lengua. Mira, Ramón.
¿Qué pelear, mijo? Raúl?
¿Qué pelea? Oíste.
Hay que ganar.
Mira, Ramón.
They're chastising him for not throwing any blows, and then they're saying you can't win unless you throw punches. They're almost saying to him, look, if you don't start throwing something, we're going to stop this fight. They're very dejected in the corner. There's no pep there. There's no hope of winning. There's just a hope of surviving.
Take your time on this guy.
Right here.
Let it go. After you touch it twice. Oh, you hurt? Okay. Okay. All right. Which one, baby? Okay. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
It's what?
Set up.
I'm trying to win. It's knockout come, it comes.
Okay. Set it up. All right.
Johnson's saying he hurt his right hand, and he's not throwing it because he hurt it.
And, I'm not just saying this because you said that. I was wondering why he was holding back with the right hand earlier to myself. So that is it. But Johnson, nevertheless, could have as much as a 10-point lead as he coasts here as we enter round number 9.
Well, that's exactly how I have it, Steve, 80 to 70. It's clearly one side, knockdowns in a couple rounds. Guzman's just not in the fight.
7 of the 10 title defenses by Johnson have gone the distance. As mentioned right at the outset, he looks at each fight as a marathon, not as a sprint. And this is a prime illustration right here against an overmatched Ramon Guzman.
He was talking about moving up to 130 pounds, but only if a title presents itself and is available, because he doesn't want to vacate just to compete at the heavier weight. He wants another title.
A solid barrage of left hooks here. All left hands for the most part. Couple of rights there. He's holding back as his right hand is damaged. Tom Johnson continues to unload, throwing some bombs.
And I'll tell you, Guzman's taking the punches better now than he had in the early round.
Because he's not getting hit with his harder punches. I mean, he's lost his steam as Boom Boom. He hasn't got off his steam. Boy, he's taking an awful lot of direct shots with no effect as Guzman.
But even a one-handed puncher here. Tom Johnson continues to dominate. Oh, a stunning left hook there by Tom Johnson to the head of Guzman. But Guzman refuses to go down.
Good right hand there, too, a double right hand. And another.
He's been down 3 times in the fight. His 4 are coming. Good onslaught by Johnson, but Guzman with tremendous courage.
Get back.
You know, he's throwing combination after combination, and this is round number 9.
Referee took a long, lingering look at Guzman.
Well, that's the thing. Guzman not coming back offensively. It's been all Tom Johnson.
Stop punching. Box. Stop punching. Step back. Right. Keep him up.
Low blow there by Tom Johnson.
Hand off his shirt. Get your hands up.
Being told to keep the punches up.
Guzman actually landed some of his more effective punches just now. A couple of uppercuts and hooks on the inside, but really he doesn't seem to have the power to get Johnson's attention that much.
Well, can Guzman survive another round?
It's just no strength whatsoever in his punches.
Left hooks by Tom Johnson. Final seconds of round 9. To the head, to the chin goes Tom Johnson, now unloading with combination. Despite the bad right hand, he's nailing him with the right to the head. And we head for the bell.
Profe, la cortadura.
Rápido, pastor.
No es nada. Así es como se pelea un título, ¿ok?
They're berating him again for not throwing punches, although he was throwing punches, and they're saying they're going to stop the fight if he doesn't do better. But let's take a look at the cut. It doesn't look bad. I mean, they're working on it with a towel. As you see, we don't see it clearly, but they don't seem to be excited about it. Referee looking at it closely. All he needs is an excuse. All he needs is an excuse to stop it. It's a one-way shot out.
And I'll tell you, though, I thought the last round was the best round Guzman had fought in the entire fight. Took the best solid shots and did not wobble, fought back and fired back.
And continued to punch, Bobby. He's not laying there taking the shots.
Here we go into double figures, round 10. Who thought it would go this far against the guy who came in loser of his last two by knockout, 5-4 over his previous 9, his first title shot. Well, at the end of round 9, Guzman perhaps threw his best punch of the fight, a left hook. In desperation, in a flurry, that momentarily stopped Boom Boom.
Well, if this continues, I'll tell you, the odds makers are going to have a banquet with a Prince fight if Prince looks good. Prince may have a bad night also. Right now, Boom Boom is not having what I would call a great night.
Well, he's not having a bad night. He just didn't blow out the opponent in spectacular fashion, which many thought he might based on his lack of big-time credentials. But Boom Boom pitching a shutout, doing everything he wants to do, taking his time, enjoying himself.
That's true, Bobby, but that doesn't build up box office gates. If you want it, if this guy came down, exploded, and then Prince has to come face him, it's a different box office, a different aspect to the fight.
And Boom Boom, a guy who is displeased over the fact that he, despite being a long-time champion, having his problems gaining recognition. And like you say, this might not help the cause.
I mean, it's hard to say that you pitched a shutout and didn't help your cause, but listen, he should have knocked out this guy.
But you have to measure the opposition, the competition.
This guy should have been knocked out. One of those nights where you don't get out a guy that you should, and he's still there.
That's the halfway point of round 10.
You know, Tom does such a nice, subtle thing on the inside, slipping punches like that. Let Guzman miss 3-4 punches, spin out.
Let's box.
And no ill effects from the punches, because nothing hit him.
The crowd applauding, getting behind the underdog, the challenger, Ramon Guzman, as you can hear in the background.
His face is beginning to lump up and show the effect of all the punishment he's taking. He's cut, not bad, but he is cut, and he's very lumped up.
Right hand by Johnson. You can see him wince when he threw that right. He has damaged the right hand. It happened a couple of rounds back. He mentioned it in the corner to his chief second, Bonzel Johnson, who's picked up.
All the more reason to finish this thing off, not to have to get in there and hurting the fight, maybe hurting the fist, and then maybe postponing the big one.
But Johnson's still so beautiful to watch. Look at him defensively. Get out of the way of those punches, albeit in some cases telegraphed.
I fought that whole combination pretty much with just one hand, a good slipping and bobbing and weaving, and it's just pretty to watch.
Really is. All he's doing is fighting with his left hand, and when he, I mean, you can see he's hurt. I mean, nobody throws that many left hands and not a right hand after.
Okay, we're gonna have to keep him honest. I know what's happening, but we have to keep him honest, okay? Every now and then you got to break something off on this guy. Get a little too brave. They think you're through. There ain't nothing happening. We got to break something off on this sucker, okay? Catch him coming and break something off on him. A 2-3 punch combination. I know what's happening. A lot of times, dig this over here. Dig it over here. All right?
Acuérdate de Venezuela.
Vamos, Ramón, que lo puede hacer. Lo puede hacer, hijo, anda, lo puede hacer, anda.
Todavía nos quedan 6 minutos para hacer lo que tú quieres.
The guy just said that we got 6 more minutes to win this fight. Now that's what you call unbridled optimism.
El protector la mano arriba está ganando con el recto derecho. Está ganando con el recto derecho.
Well, round 11, and you guys have this as a shutout.
I sure do, and I'm sure Bobby does.
100 to 88 as of right now. The gap just to get bigger, short.
Johnson fought round 10 somewhat differently, keeping more at a distance, possibly because Guzman caught him with a solid shot at the end of the round, and partly because he can stay at a distance and keep his title without any problem. But he is fighting one-handed. His right hand is hurt.
Right.
If you're just joining us, a very game, but certainly overmatched Ramon Guzman in the multicolored trunks on the left of your screen. Looks to be shut out here by Tom Boom Boom Johnson.
But Johnson fighting with one hand, his right hand hurt, not using it, uses it sparingly. When he goes for the knockout, he uses it. Otherwise, he's just using a left-handed fight. And so if you just tuned in, it looks like Guzman is chasing Johnson around. It's not the way it's been.
Not the case.
No, you know, it's not only that, but let's remember back. Julio Cesar Chavez, Mildred Taylor boxing smartly, and went in and fought with a guy, got caught, got hurt, got knocked out. There's only seconds left. Tom Boom Boom Johnson's far too smart for that type of thing. Not that I think Guzman punches like Chavez.
He's only got 6 minutes to go, and he can do that left-handed and win this like as easy as you can win a fight. Shut up.
Well, the question is, later, will Prince Nassim Hamed need this kind of stamina against his opponent, a two-time world champion, Manuel Medina? He has predicted a second-round knockout against Medina, a very seasoned 25-year-old. Rhythmic applause here in the background from this crowd at the Point Theatre in Dublin, Ireland.
And those are not applause of praise. Those are applause of disbelief that it's gone this far, and why are we here?
They're just trying to step up the energy level.
They want to see action. They want to see this thing come to conclusion. They don't know that Johnson's right hand is hurt, and he's not giving out those combinations anymore.
Well, they want closure.
He's just moving, staying out of harm's way. That's all he's doing it well. The fight's in the bag. He has nothing left to prove about this particular fighter, but certainly certain questions will arise based on the Prince's performance in a little while.
I think he's going to get a shower of boos and whistles when this thing's over with, because it doesn't look like he let him looks like he let him go instead of just put him out when he could have. And of course, they have a point.
And also, again, not to sound redundant, but giving credit to the challenger, Ramon Guzman, who has taken some tough shots. He has been down 3 times.
Guzman might have won a round.
It's so academic, I'm going to quit adding and subtracting. Let's listen.
Piensa en tu familia.
Tiene que noquear.
Hay que ser.
Tiene que noquear.
No queda más.
Está muy quedado con la
One
mano.
guy is repeating, you got to knock him out, you got to knock him out. He's tired, you can get him this round, and that's it. Let's listen to the other corner and see what's happening.
You're boxing beautiful. But when you're making a miss, especially on the left-hand side, when you're making a miss, you got to come back with a good...
No.
Okay, you got to come with a good hook for me. Okay, when you duck, come with a good, solid, short hook.
Shorten it up.
That's right. That's right. Shorten it up for me.
No.
That's right. Don't get careless. Just boxing. Keep boxing, okay?
I hear you.
All right, baby.
I hear you. Real smart. Okay,
The question now is, what does Boom Boom Johnson do? Does he coast to victory or try to close it out as he did in the highlight we showed earlier against Ever Bolaño when he stopped him in the 12th?
Yeah, but that was a close fight. You didn't know who was ahead. Here, his corner, unless they're completely crazy, knows that this guy just swept his fight.
Well, it's obvious.
So does Boom Boom.
Guzman needs the knockout. His KO punch is the left hook, just for the record. He's 21-5, has 20 knockouts.
You know, when you have a title on the line, especially if you have an injury, you have to fight in the bag. What you do is you don't worry about it.
Exactly.
You look good tomorrow. Win today, look good tomorrow. Don't have to worry about it.
Exactly.
You got to put your pride in your back pocket every once in a while. You do the smart thing, and that appears to be what Boom Boom's doing.
And Johnson's corner looking mighty confident of victory, as well they should. Round 12 for the IBF Featherweight Championship. And here goes Boom Boom Johnson to the head of Ramon Guzman. Guzman hanging in there, taking some massive punishment.
Well, here comes Guzman, the last last-ditch attempt to win, and he's taking a slacking in the process.
Almost like in Azuma Nelson-like fashion, Tom Boom Boom Johnson doing it off the ropes.
You know, those are the kind of things that can be dangerous. See, for a moment, he lost his cool and went with him toe-to-toe. That's the only way. That's the only way that Guzman can win the fight.
But Guzman doesn't appear to have that kind of power.
No, he doesn't.
Even if Tom puts his hands down and gets caught with his eyes closed. He doesn't appear to have the ability to knock him out.
Well, Guzman, I agree with you. 20 knockouts in 21 fights. What does that mean? Have you seen his ring record? There isn't one recognizable name on it.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I don't go by that for these guys. I mean, I'll tell you what, if bravery was in the record, yeah, that should be in the record. He was gutted. He was gutted.
Well, there's no quitting him. He's still in there. He knows he's way behind that vest. And he's just trying with everything he has.
A minute to go. Guzman, the oldest of 7 children, his father Ramon Sr., Central American and Caribbean champion, so boxing in the blood. He learned early. Looks like Johnson, though, is looking to end this with a knockout.
Oh,
he almost had him there.
He almost had him. He dragged his feet.
He did. He lifted that right leg up with a little buckle to that knee.
Johnson probably wondering what is holding this man up.
And there he is again. There he is.
Under 30 seconds in the 12th. You hear the corner of Ramon Guzman screaming. Final seconds of the fight. And this one goes in the books. The crowd appreciative of the effort as this fight goes all the way to round 12.
And all those whistles don't mean anything good. That means people don't like it, although they gave him a gentlemanly applaud, a courteous applaud for a gutty performance by Guzman.
And the crowd saluting Guzman now as he raises his right hand. It's a virtual shutout for Tom Boom Boom Johnson, but he was fighting almost half the fight with just one hand. He damaged his right hand in the process of the fight. He mentioned it to his trainer, his chief second, Bonzel Johnson, during one of the breaks between rounds. We picked up on it here at ringside, and of course the crowd didn't know that, nor did Guzman. But Tom Boom Boom Johnson had one wing for about half that fight, only his left hand.
So if the right hand wasn't hurt, he would have left here.
B-Sky BTV, our counterparts here.
You would have definitely knocked him out if the right hand wasn't hurt.
We'll be chatting with Tom Boom Boom Johnson first, so then we'll be standing by to get the fight Dr. Ferdy Pacheco over to Boom Boom.
He got beat up from the feet up. You did a great job.
Obviously, quite a bit of interest here with Tom Boom Boom Johnson because of the rivalry. Soon to be anticipated with their hero, Prince Nassim Hamed, or at least England's hero, but they love him here as well in Ireland. There is an anticipated showdown coming up perhaps in the month of December. Here's Jimmy.
After 12 rounds of action, we have a unanimous decision. Here are the score totals. Judge at ringside, Lawrence Wallace scores at 116-109. Dr. Ruben Garcia scores at 118-107. Dave Parris sees the bout 119-107. All three in favor of the winner and still champion, Tom Boom Boom Johnson.
So Tom Boom Boom Johnson continues his reign as IBF featherweight champ, raising his record to 44-2-1, successfully defending his crown 11 times now since winning the title back in February of 1993. Ironically, he won that title for the man who challenges Prince Nassim Hamed for the WBO featherweight belt. Next in our main event, Manuel Medina. And should Hamed prevail, as we've been talking about, we could be looking at a Johnson-Hamed unification matchup in the not-too-distant future. Coming up next here at the Point Theatre in Dublin, Ireland, our featured attraction, the WBO Featherweight Championship. Prince Naseem Hamed versus Manuel Medina. The cocky, flamboyant, thoroughly unorthodox Hamed comes in 22-0 with 20 knockouts, perhaps a little wiser from his last outing when he was knocked down for the first time in his career, although he came right back and ruthlessly registered his 10th straight knockout win. Meanwhile, the experienced Medina, a former two-time world champion, is thinking upset. Let's take a look at some of the action from round number 3 in that last fight between Tom Johnson and Ramon Guzman.
This is the second knockdown in round 3, and Tom is working the body. He's just digging it, digging it. You see him, he stays down there almost exclusively and then jumps up, cocks and unloads with a big right hand, springs in. Beautiful combination, beautiful knockdown. Then in round 7, he goes right down the pipe with that left hand, right hook. Puts the left hand out, reaches for him, and then follows straight through with a right hand. You'll see it coming up as Guzman gets back to the ropes. Here you come, left hook, right hand. 1, 2. Right on the button, caught him clean, right down the pipe. And Guzman once again finding himself sitting down.
3 knockdowns in all. Steve Albert back here with two-time world champion Bobby. Just Bobby, were you a little surprised by the scoring?
I was a little surprised by one of the scorings, 116-109. That gave quite a few rounds to Guzman, more than I did. I gave him one, I believe just the 11th round where Tom Johnson just took the round off. I really would have a hard time giving him any other rounds.
Yeah, 116-109, 118-107, 119-107 were the scorecards. So what do you think? All in all, is this looked upon as a productive night for Tom Boom Boom Johnson as he tunes up perhaps for Prince Naseem?
Well, as Johnson would tell you, he just wants to be the best that he could be, person as well as champion. He kept his title, that's first and foremost. If he hurt his hand, that's not productive. And I don't think it has done anything to enhance the value of a Naseem fight. Not yet, but we'll see, because the other half is yet to come.
If the hand heals properly and he does get a showdown fight for title unification against England's Prince Naseem Hamed, do you think that Tom Johnson has the correct style to overcome the unique style of Prince Naseem Hamed?
Well, Tom Johnson has some unique defensive skills of his own, and Hamed may find it hard to hit him with 2 or 3 clean. And if he stares at Tom while Tom's doing that swaying thing, he may find 1 or 2 shots of his own on his chin. So could be a rate of attrition type fight. Who can take the most, who can go the most, who's in the best shape, and who's on their game.
Well, as you know, after seeing Prince Naseem Hamed, he can often make good fighters, decent fighters, look very ordinary. If you were a featherweight, how would you handle Prince Naseem, aside from putting tape over his mouth?
Certainly very carefully. He's the kind of guy that you can't pay attention to all the hoopla that he's doing, the dancing, the jumping, the hands, the flailing, the stepping around, the dancing in the ring. You got to go down the middle. I think double and triple jabs are very important. Countering his big shots, slipping underneath him, ripping up with uppercuts and hooks, but down the middle with the right hand. As Alisea did, that was the key to knocking him down.
You made a good point earlier by saying that Tom Johnson knows Manuel Medina very well. He would not like to fight Medina for a 4th time. He's beaten him 2 out of 3 times, but it'll be interesting to see what happens in the main event. Right now, the fight doctor, Ferdy Pacheco, is ready with Tom Boom Boom Johnson in the ring. Ferdy?
Well, I'm sure you didn't expect to be here 12 rounds with this guy. He wasn't going anywhere.
No, the guy was very determined. You know, he's one of them kind of guys. They get up for these kind of fights, and you don't never know what level you're going to have to go to. You just have to be prepared. Anytime you get a guy, you knock him down. You can't get caught up, get reckless, and run in and get caught yourself. The guy's a good puncher. You know, he definitely lived up to his opposition as far as being a good puncher, and he's a very dangerous guy throughout the fight. So we recognize that he was there for the fight and wasn't going anywhere, so we just took him all the distance.
Let's take a short Hall of Famer for you. Here's 3. Here's the first one. You tell us. This is the first one.
Well, we sat back, you know, we just looked at him and tried to set him up for the right hand and everything. You know, we was just looking for the right hand. And there it was over top. And I felt it coming along, but I kept hitting him on the top of his head.
This is the same round. Later on, there's another knockdown. Talk.
Yeah, we was going, you know, we was looking for him. We figured we was going to set him up, try to take him downstairs, bring him something up top, make him drop his hands. And that's what we did. We tried to make him drop his hands. You know, hitting him with some good body shots, and we came up on top there again with the right hand. But we, you know, for some reason, the right hand was a little bit off. We kept hitting him on the top of the head. You know, anytime you meet bone and bone, something's going to give.
This is in the 7th round. Again, by this time, your right hand is hurt.
Yes, the right hand was a little hurt right then. I didn't want to take a chance and break the right hand. You know, We kept hitting him, like I said, we kept hitting him in the top of the head and on the elbow. So it was just a matter of just trying to set him up. That was a good right hand. You know, at that point, I felt the pressure on the right hand, and I didn't want to further damage the right hand, so we relinquished from using it and just tried to outbox the guy. And I knew that the right hand was the punch that was going to get him out of there, but unfortunately, you know, we had to restrain from using it so much.
And thank you very much. It was a long evening, but it was one of those things you do. Now let's get back to Steve Albert and Bobby Chess.